Welcome back to Brands Hatch then, round 3 of the EuroNASCAR 2 Championship. About to get underway here at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit. And it will be 31 laps of racing for these drivers. Of course, always a slightly shorter distance in the EuroNASCAR 2 category. And you see there the cars from Cal Racing up there at the sharp end in both categories as always. And always great to see them here with us. The man who leads the championship here, Alberto Nasca, in the 88 car, the Cal Racing 88 machine. And of course, we have the fans back in their droves here at the Brands Hatch circuit. So fabulous to be back for a proper American Speed Fest, as we host traditionally here for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series drivers and teams. And there you see the conditions, 20 degrees at the moment. I personally didn't realize it was that hot, but we've also got quite a lot of wind coming in as well, so that really does cool down the ambient that you feel around the venue. And there you see the cars getting ready to take on what is a 1.9 kilometer circuit, about 1.2, 1.3 miles in length, and proper little bull ring of a circuit, which means when you take 30 stock cars and tell them to go racing, things get very interesting. I'm sure a lot of you will know, of course, the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend. That is, of course, a famous corner where you can do a lot right and a lot wrong. Druids is turn 2. Turn 3 is Graham Hill Bend. Turn 4 is Surtees after the Cooper Straight. Then you go into McLaren, Clark Curve, Clearways, and that brings you back onto the start-finish straight, the Brabham Straight. It's a circuit where you don't have much room to rest. It's a circuit that so many of the drivers here in EuroNASCAR adore, and we heard a bit more about the circuit earlier in the week with Advait Deodar.
I've raced at Brands Hatch now 6 times prior to this. Why is Brands Hatch so special to me? I think multiple reasons. One is I did my first ever Elite 2 race over here at Brands Hatch. I had my first ever podium in EuroNASCAR at Brands Hatch. I had my first ever pole position out of India at Brands Hatch. And my first ever win on an international level at Brands Hatch. And I live in London, so I think there's more than one reason why this place is special to me. This is my home race. I've got a lot of my friends coming tomorrow. My family's over here. My parents are here from India. They're very excited. They hope I'm going to win, and so do all my friends. Brands Hatch looks simple on paper, but like my father last night, he was looking at the track map and he was like, oh, it's only 4 corners. Even though it's a short track, 49 seconds, it is probably the most technical track on the circuit because of the undulations. And I mean, going into the first corner, the massive drop from the top to the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend is something you have to just experience. Druids is actually an interesting corner because you're braking uphill. So the one thing the drivers need to get used to is you can brake a lot later. If you stick your right 2 wheels onto the curb, it almost helps you pull the car towards the right. So that's, I'd say, the secret of Druids is get those 2 right wheels on the curb. Where you want to gain your time is the last corner. Make sure you get a very good exit and get that back to squat so you get maximum traction and you can shoot out of that last corner onto the start-finish straight. Why should you come to Brands Hatch? I mean, for the American Speed Fest, the sun's shining and bright right now, which is rare in the UK, so that should be a reason in itself. It's a short circuit, 49 seconds. We've got 30-plus cars, 5.7-liter V8s, which sound amazing. Some of the best drivers in Europe out here, where there's proper racing, proper wheel-to-wheel racing for the kids. You can keep the kids entertained. You got everything. We've got monster trucks, you've got merry-go-rounds. It doesn't get better than this right now in June. So if you're out there, make your way across the Brands Hatch for the American Speed Fest and watch my car number 90.
There you go. Not only motorsports, number 90 driver Advait Deodar there Very nice plug from Advait there. The man knows what he's doing. I believe this is a shot of the number 40 car, which is the Speedhouse entry. Now, in the EuroNASCAR Pro Race, this car was crashed by Elvind Brynildsen, and unfortunately that means that the 40 isn't going to take the start in EuroNASCAR 2 in the hands of Matthias Hauer. They knew as soon as the car arrived back that it wasn't going to be partaking in this 31-lap race for EuroNASCAR 2. So unfortunately that car is no more, at least for today. They'll be back out tomorrow. That's what they're working to down there with the axe grinder. That is unfortunate. Of course, it is one of those things that can happen here in EuroNASCAR. It's one of those unique things where two different championships from two different drivers often rely on the exact same car. And that means that if one driver has a big incident, it can have a knock-on effect on the other driver as well. And that's exactly what we're seeing there with that 40 crew from Speedhouse Racing. Obviously, Speedhouse, a very, very capable team. I don't think anyone in the paddock would have been able to get that car ready to go ahead of the race. So that's a big shame. But we still got a nice full grid. And Andre, of course, is going to ask a lot of them the pressing questions.
Thanks, Adam. I'm here with Martin Dubeck, the reigning EuroNASCAR 2 champion. Second row, good starting position, but we know the track is tough here, right?
I didn't have one clear lap during the qualification, so that's why I have to start from P4. But the race is too long, so it can happen everything, and I will do my best for the podium.
How physical is it? You're doing the EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 under the heat of Great Britain. I mean, maybe we thought there would be some rain here in the UK, but the sun is shining, the temperatures are high.
I'm a little bit tired because it's really too much racing with two categories, both categories. But I still have the power, so I will do my best, and I hope it will be everything okay. First corner, it will be hard, turn 2 also, but as me, it will be nice race.
All right, thank you so much and good luck. Back to Adam.
There you go, Martin Dubeck, the reigning champion in EuroNASCAR 2. He starts 4th on the grid for this one. He finished 4th in our previous race for the EuroNASCAR Pro category. And here we see Alberto Nasca's 88 car. I believe Andre is prepping for a word with him.
Second row for your first American Speedfest. But before we talk about the race, how's the atmosphere here for you?
It's incredible. I mean, being used to race in Italy, I was not used to see so many fans, so many... Wow, it's simply amazing. I really want to say thank you to everyone here because, wow, it feels great.
What is your strategy starting here on the inside in row number 2?
It's difficult because this is not a circuit where it's easy to pass. The strategy was to make the pole position, but it didn't work. So I don't know. I will just wait and see what happens and then improvise, adapt, overcome.
One last thing, we know that a lot of Italian fans are following you right now. You have one sentence to say to them in Italian.
Andiamo. And then I want to say, the word is andiamo, let's go, it means. And then I want to say, ciao a tutti che mi state guardando da casa, ciao anche alla mia ragazza, ti amo, ciao a tutta la mia famiglia, e vediamo di far bene, dai.
Grazie mille.
Excellent here from the current championship leader, Alberto Nasca, in the 88 car, leads by 6 points over Martin Dubeck, who we heard from just a few moments ago. Of course, third in the championship is Vladimiros Tsiotsis in the number 5 car. And looking further down the grid at the number 90 car, that is Advet Dioda, who we heard from just a few moments ago. He will be starting from 7th on the grid on the inside of row number 4 for the 2x2 rolling start. And the driver who, as we mentioned, is based in London, will be looking for a good result here. Back down to Andre.
I'm here with Jill Linster. You know the track very well. You're a true NASCAR Whelen Year Series veteran. What are the key points here to be successful?
I think one of the key points is turn one. Just turn in blind and then just hope that you're on the right line. That's one of the key points. But for me, one of the main key points is the turn three. That's for me the toughest one, and for all the rest, it's not the biggest track.
How is the atmosphere for you being back with all the fans at the American Speedfest here at Brands Hatch?
Yeah, that's just amazing. It's so nice to see the fans back. It's just racing without fans. It's just not the racing.
All right, thank you so much and good luck. Adam, it's your turn.
Yes, indeed. We have just under 7 minutes until we hear the most famous words in motorsport, encouraging the drivers to get their engines started. There's the number 17 car. That's one of the Shadow DN M8s, the revival of the Shadow name, a company with such huge legacy in the worlds of Formula One and also Can-Am competition as well over in the United States. Of course, these cars are all but spec, but still great to see. And Liam Hazeman's his own mechanic, I can tell you, down in the pit lane between races.
Look who I found. On Friday, we were searching for you all the time, and then we had you at the driver registration. Check our YouTube content for that one. We searched for Liam Hazeman for hours, and now he's sitting in the car. That's easy to find you here. First time Brands Hatch for you. How is it to do both categories, Pro and 2?
Wow, it's really exciting, as I said, and yeah, no, actually I'm really happy because even we had our first race in the Pro Series, went actually quite well. We went to Super Pole, so yeah, first time in Super Pole for my first race, so yeah, no, it's really, really exciting. And now, yeah, we're gonna see how this race goes on, but yeah, it's really exciting, really, really exciting.
Any special strategies for this race to get onto the podium?
Well, I think the most important is for sure get through the start, because well, now I'm starting on the outside. In the first race I started in the inside. I saw inside is quite more difficult because you get quite easily passed by the outside. So yeah, I think the first lap just getting through and then just try to catch up every lap a bit. And yeah, then we see until the end of the race, huh?
All right, thank you well and veel success.
There you go, 5 minutes until we hear the command. So not long at all until we start to see these engines firing up for EuroNASCAR 2. They'll then do a couple of formation laps ahead of the 31-lap race, 60 kilometers of racing for EuroNASCAR 2 as opposed to the 75 that we do in EuroNASCAR Pro. So slightly less distance for the drivers. You heard Martin Dubek saying that, you know what, 2 different categories in the same day is a lot of work. I'm sure he'll be happy that this race is a little bit shorter than the one previous. That was a very big teddy bear, wasn't it? 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to go then. As we again, I believe this is Dioda's car again, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. And as he alluded to, he's based in London, so he's going to be receiving lots of local support from this circuit, here at this circuit. Of course, he is based just outside of, well, this circuit is based just outside of London itself. It was a host of events at the 2012 London Olympic Games, since it is so close. We are just off the M25 here. And, he's with Mr. Dioda. Andre, over to you.
Do you enjoy your home race, Advait?
Yes, I absolutely love it, and I'm really looking forward to getting back once it goes green.
What goes through your mind when you hear the command, drivers start your engines? To be honest, what is the thing that goes through your mind then?
Let's go, baby. Enough of this. Let's just go.
All right. Thank you so much. Good luck.
I think that might have had double meaning, you know. Enough of this, he said. But 3 minutes until the command. I believe we will hear the national anthem in just a few moments as well, possibly. At least it was in the rundown, but I'm not sure we've had that yet, unless I'm very much mistaken. You see there, the Paddock Hill Bend Grandstand. Great view of the circuit. That was always my chosen seating position when I was regularly attending this venue as a spectator myself. Get to see the entirety of the Indy circuit, aside from the bit behind the trees at Druids. So it is a spectacular place to watch motor racing. There you see the 88 car. There you see Alberto NASCAR starting from the second row of the grid, our championship leader. He will be looking to try and extend that lead over Martin Dubek. Vladimiros Tsiotsis there in third. Got a deadlock for fourth place between Hazemans, Delso and Lindster. And there you see the trophies as well. Alberto NASCAR leading the rookie trophy as well. Luli Del Castello leading the lady trophy. And legend trophy for Melvin de Groot. So, as you can see, there are lots of pots to win here in the EuroNASCAR 2 category. And Alberto NASCAR, I'm sure as much as he's interested in winning the rookie, the fact that he's come out of Valencia already having proven that he's got race-winning potential, already at the top of the standings, I think that he is going to be itching to show that he is a long-term contender for the overall championship honours. I'm sure that if he's not careful, he'll be told that he has to be bumped up to pro in future seasons, because he has shown a great aptitude for these stock cars in very short order. He's done some Legends racing and things like that in the past as well. And obviously, Alberto, YouTuber, he documents everything he does in the world of racing on his YouTube channel. I firmly recommend you take a look at that. Content that he produces is often incredibly insightful. Within 40 seconds then of the command being given to the drivers, and the engines will be fired in just a few moments' time. The formation laps will follow shortly thereafter, and at that point we will, of course, as the selfie from Paul Woodford there, we will of course run you through the grid.
For the best moment of my life, the best moment of all of your lives, okay? We're on the grid for the EuroNASCAR 2 race here at Brands Hatch on day one of American Speedfest. 10 seconds to go, and we're saying the big words. Ready? Drivers, start your engines. I heard that.
There you go, that's Paul Woodford, my colleague in the world of commentary, former circuit manager up at Cadwell Park as well. Great to see him getting that honour. I could tell that he was tickled pink by having that bestowed upon him, the not insignificant duty of laying down the most famous words in motorsports. And the drivers have indeed started their engines. And as you can see, quite a few of these cars are wearing some varied panelling, let's say, on the machinery after the physical racing that we saw in race number one for the EuroNASCAR Pro drivers earlier on. Of course, certain members of this EuroNASCAR 2 grid were also racing earlier on in Pro, the likes of Ali Koluk and Martin Dubek. Liam Hazemans, of course, this weekend taking to EuroNASCAR Pro because, unfortunately, Tobias Downhauer isn't here to race with us. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR 2 category is about to see the green flag for the formation laps here. And it will be 31 laps of racing, and if the earlier racing we saw today is anything to go by, this should be grandstand viewing. If you are anywhere near Brands Hatch, I heartily suggest that tomorrow you come along and see this in person. If you want to know why, stay tuned in now, because we've got 31 laps of fabulous action just about to come. Oh, Alberto NASCAR taking a little while to get the car underway there. I was a little bit worried for a moment, but it ultimately turned out to be nothing more than a stylish burnout. Vladimiros Tsiotsis then on the pole position in the number 5 car, the Cypriot driver, once again the quickest man out there. Ulysse Delso starting second alongside him. Alberto NASCAR in third position, the Italian driver, and he starts alongside Martin Dubek. Dubek starting fourth, where he finished in the pro race earlier. Gil Linster from Luxembourg for Cal Racing starting in fifth. Liam Hazeman's in sixth position. He'll be using his experience from earlier on today in the pro race as well. Advait Dioda in seventh place, and then it's Francesco Garisto in the 17 Shadow. That car was in the wars earlier on in pro. They'll be hoping for better things from this race. Melvin de Groot in at ninth alongside Paul Giffreau, rounding out our top 10. Further back in the order, we have the number 23 of Thomas Pontinent, number 18 of Claudio Capelli, starting the car he was driving against earlier on. We understand it's the first time that's happened. Keep an eye on that 18 car. Of course, in pro earlier on, it was driven by Mr. Maggi, and Claudio Capelli has now taken it over for EuroNASCAR 2, having driven directly against it in the pro race earlier on. 13th place is Leonardo Colavita, the JTG-back driver. Alberto Panabianco in 14th in the 89 car. 15th place is Patrick Schober in the 27. Alia Kolak, another one of the drivers who's doubling in that 29. Matthew Ellis in the 58 car. His EuroNASCAR debut. He's looking to try and make a name for himself here and have a fuller campaign perhaps in years to come. The 48 of Yevgen Sokolovsky is 18th alongside him in the distinctive Gulf colours. 19th place Paolo Valeri in the number 8 car, and Roberto Benedetti is rounding out the top 20 for this one. Miguel Gomez in the 46 is next on row 11 alongside Michael Bliekemolen in the 72. Kasparis Vingelis is starting the number 1 car. That car expired with a, quote, exploded battery before the pro race even got started earlier. Luli Del Castello starting in 24th in the distinctive pink 54 car, and we're expecting 30 cars to take the start. I got through 24 of them, but they're already gridding up 2 by 2, ready to go. Racing, Vladimiros Tsiotsis and Ulis Delso on the front row of the grid. Tsiotsis, of course, on the inside line, heading into Paddock Hill Bend. Alberto Nasca will be keen to try and follow him through, try and get up the inside of Delso in the number 3, if he possibly can. As is tradition during Speedfest, the cars come around the circuit to the sounds of AC/DC, but now we're going to really be thunderstruck as the EuroNASCAR 2 grid thunders down towards the grids. They pull the pin and they are underway, and it is going to be, by the looks of it, Tsiotsis who leads into the first corner. Yes, he does, and Alberto Nasca has managed to get himself through into second place. That puts Ulis Delso down to third place, but Delso trying to go all the way around the outside at Druids. Not often that works. On this occasion, it doesn't look like it has. Vladimiros Tsiotsis rounds Graham Hill Bend for the first time as our race leader. The 88 car is next, Alberto Nasca, then it's Delso. In at fourth position is Gil Linster. So he managed to make up some places there on the inside of row 3 as well. Here comes the number 5 car then. Shared, of course, with Patrick Lemarie and the up-and-coming Cypriot driver Vladimiros Tsiotsis. Really has come into his own this season. Oh, bit of curb hopping there, but he's looking very, very fast indeed. Linster there running it quite wide out of Paddock Hill Bend on the second time of asking. Linster ended up falling back behind Martin Dubek before the end of the first lap, and I think he may have now fallen further again. Yes, he has, because through into 5th place has gone Liam Hazemans. Side by side there for 6th place. That's the 17 car of Garisto trying to make a move on Linster. So Linster down to 6th and under pressure from the 17 being driven by Francesco Garisto. Let's see what kind of moves he can make. I alluded to it just before his interview with Andre earlier on. Liam Hazemans was actually working on his own car for quite a while before this EuroNASCAR 2 race. Of course, He was running in pro earlier on. He's double dipping this weekend. And Hazeman's, as we see some side-by-side action going on further back, Hazeman's was working along with his grandfather, noted racer Twan Hazeman's, to repair the car. Some best part of 51 years removed from Hazeman's racing a factory Alfa Romeo here in 1971. Twan Hazeman's has been around racing for a long time, and great to see him still rolling up his sleeves with his grandson to get the car back out there on circuit for the next race. Here's the battle then for 6th place. Gil Linster still holding off Garisto for now. Goes defensive into Druid's hairpin, and the car tried to break away from him there mid-corner. Sometimes you do have to fight these cars every inch of the way. These small block V8 motors make a glorious sound as they all thunder past our commentary position. They really do make the ground beneath your feet shake. It is Siortsis then that leads the way in the number 5 car. 1.3 seconds the gap he's already got over Alberto Nasca. Siortsis was a fairly controlling winner in both of the races at Valencia. At least on the road, of course, but he looked to be in a class of his own. In qualifying, that didn't really look to be the case. He was only just a few hundredths clear of quite a few of the drivers behind him. But we'll have to see whether or not he can build the gap. Certainly, it looks like he's getting away from NASCAR at the moment. Half a second a lap he's making up on the Italian for now. We're just following the 69 car at the moment there. Melvin de Groot in 9th position. He's got a huge queue of cars behind him. Coming under fire from Paul Dufresne, who in turn has Pontonen behind him. Now, all of these cars are, in fact, it's a Speedhouse car, the number 33. And it's kind of being sandwiched by Blake-Molen machines, because that number 23 car of Thomas Pontonen is, in fact, a Team Blake-Molen car, as well as the number 69 of de Groot. Of course, Sebastian Blake-Molen driving the 69 car earlier today in the EuroNASCAR Pro class. Here's our race leader then. You can see there the gap between himself and Alberto Nasca already looking somewhat comfortable. Now, when you've got 30 NASCARs, 30 stock cars, or 29 actually that took the start, all pounding their way around the circuit, you always have to worry, you always have to consider the fact of incidents happening further back in the order. For Vladimiros Siortsis, he is going to be begging everyone to keep their noses clean in this race so that we don't get a caution. Because of course, if a caution does go out, then this nice gap that he's building himself will all be gone in one fell swoop. We saw there Dubek being hounded by Liam Hazemans. That's for 4th overall, of course. The two drivers who raced together earlier on as well in the EuroNASCAR Pro class, and Melvin de Groot there in 9th place on this lap as well. As to the inside goes Dufresne. Very nice move from Paul Dufresne. Classic Brands Hatch manoeuvre that. More speed through Surtees than McLaren. Door is left ever so slightly open at Clark Curve. But it's still side by side as they approach Paddock Hill Bend, and now Paul Giffreau has it done, but has he run it too wide? Yes, he has. Oh, Paul Giffreau. Oh, he's done well to keep that out of the barriers. Goodness me. Paul Giffreau going rally crossing there. I thought he'd just about got that right, but left his braking too late into Paddock Hill Bend, and well, there you see he's lost 4 positions trying to gain 1. Just to make the point as well, on the previous lap, the number 90 car, that is the man we heard from a couple of times already in this broadcast, Advait's Dioda. He's moved up to P7 at the expense of Gil Lindster. And looks like he's not content with that either, is he? Dioda all over the back of Garisto. Number 90 versus number 17. Some bodywork trying to make a bid for freedom on the side of Advait Dioda's car. But the 17 running defensive lines at the moment, calculating driving from Francesco Garisto in the Shadow DNM8. Being hounded, being pursued by the Chevy Camaro out of the Not Only Motorsport camp, being driven by Advait Dioda. Of course, Gil Lindster, who got overtaken by the Indian driver based in the UK a few laps ago. If he senses half an opportunity to reclaim 7th place, of course, he will take it. We're about to start lap 12 of the race here. Just over 1/3 distance in this one. Just over 20 kilometers completed. And Siortsis leads by 2.5 seconds over Alberto Nasca. Their pace is pretty much even at this stage. But I think it's going to take quite the pace revelation from Alberto Nasca for him to catch up to Siortsis, although of course, as well as the possibility of a caution, you also have the possibility of lap traffic, as once again having a moment there was the number 33 car. I believe that was once again Giffreau going rally crossing. He will have fallen further down the order. He'd already dropped to 13th place trying to find a way past Melvin de Groot, and he might not even be in the top 15 anymore. Both Siortsis and Nasca picked up the pace on the previous lap, but it was Nasca who was faster. He's got a few tenths in hand over Delso in 3rd place, as you can see there on your screen. But Nasca was fractionally faster last time by. Can he keep that up? Can he maybe start to reel in Vladimiros Siortsis? Certainly, lap traffic is going to be a factor for Vladimiros, and as soon as I say that, he dispatches Ariana Casoli. So there you see the first of the back markers, and Ariana very courteous in how she allowed the leading trio through. You see there that Martin Dubek hasn't been given any respite for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 laps, as Liam Hazemans continues to push. Hazemans, who I feel I have to labour this point, made his car racing debut at Valencia here in the EuroNASCAR 2. He's now racing both the second and pro category, and there was a car off there. At pit entry, there was a car that had spun in the middle of the circuit. Didn't quite catch a number on that one before I before we switched away from that, but there was a car off. Let's hope it's a car that has since rejoined the race. I think it may have been Leubnerger in the 94 car. There you see NASCAR continuing to hold off Del So. Dubek and Hazeman still having this fabulous battle over 4th place as well. Hazeman still incredibly new to the world of car racing, and you just get the feeling that with every single race he's just soaking up more information. Yellow flag is being waved down there on the main straight, but I think that's now been withdrawn. So not a full course yellow situation. Just on half distance in this race then. And again, the gap between Ziortzis and NASCAR seems to have stabilised. Yellow in turn 1, I'm just being informed by Gianluca. Gianluca, of course, a huge part of the EuroNASCAR organisation. He says number 14 car, probably the car that's in the gravel. Okay, so the number 14, of course, we already saw slowing a little bit earlier on. Ariana Casoli trying to stay out of the way of some of the faster cars. As Hazeman's again all over the back of Dubek. They've had to basically give the car an entirely fresh set of front bodywork between races, and the safety car is out. So safety car has been scrambled onto the circuit. A reminder for those of you who perhaps aren't regular Brands Hatch viewers or attendees, the safety car is always scrambled from the back straight, the Cooper straight, so around the back of the paddock. Hence it suddenly emerged halfway around the lap. So they have decided that the safety car is required out there on track, and we assume that is to collect the missing number 14 car. But of course, we talked about this, didn't we? Vladimiros Ziortzis would have been begging, praying, hoping, any which way that this wouldn't happen. But sure enough, a caution has reared its ugly head here. Great news for everyone else, of course. If you're Alberto NASCAR, you'll see this as a second chance. Same goes for Del So. Dubek and Hazeman's could well once again find themselves in contention for an overall podium here as well. You saw there the 14 car parked up just in front of the Paddock Hill Bend grandstand there. So they decided that car was in a dangerous position, and to be fair, you don't normally go off at that part of the circuit without it being a big moment. The last thing you'd want to do is collect a stationary car on your way. So the full order of cars queuing up behind our race leaders. Only 2 or 3 drivers actually got lapped prior to the safety car's deployment, so this will bring a few drivers closer in to the lead once more. Not that one would suspect some of the drivers who were already lagging behind will suddenly be a factor in the lead battle, but of course, one driver I always like to mention is the driver of the number 72, Michael Bleekemolen, who is currently down there in 23rd position. Michael is, of course, among other things, a former Formula One driver, and his vintage is given away by his driver number. He is the number 72. He is 72 years of age, the patriarch of the Bleekemolen racing family, and great to have him racing with us in the world of EuroNASCAR in 2022. There's Paul Giffro's 33 car. Geoffroy, who now runs 14th place after his numerous dramas to this point in the race. I was speaking to the driver of the number 12. You see, the number 18, sorry. You see their number 18, the Swiss flagged Toyota that just went through shot. That is being driven by Claudio Remigio Capelli. And he, of course, is racing the 16 car in EuroNASCAR Pro. He's also now racing this car in EuroNASCAR 2. So he's driving two different cars across the two categories. That's unheard of in this discipline. So he's setting a whole new precedent there. And he's doing so, as he put it to me, to better himself, really. He needs more time behind the car, behind the wheel of the car, he feels. And so he's splitting his efforts across the two cars this weekend. He did say it's difficult because even though these cars are, you know, mechanically speaking, identical, each car is set up differently. No two cars are truly identical. And he said he's been finding it difficult switching between the two, but certainly that number 18 car can be a quick package. We've seen what it's capable of in the hands of its other driver in the pro class, Giorgio Maggi, who, if memory serves me correctly, is the current points leader in the junior class of EuroNASCAR Pro. He also took an overall top 5 finish today in our earlier race for the EuroNASCAR Pro. Of course, 2 more races tomorrow here at Brands, as is always the case. Tomorrow we'll play host to round 4 of both championships. Shouldn't be too long before we have the safety car in. There's Garisto in the number 17 car, the Shadow. Fabulous to have the Shadow name in this series, and even better to have that classic Shadow colour scheme visible on the grid. So many drivers, teams, and figures in the paddock are storied in racing history. We, of course, had the opportunity to hear from Anthony Kumpen ahead of the EuroNASCAR Pro race. Of course, we were speaking of him in retroactive terms as a team manager, but he assures me he's going to go racing again in the very near future. The flatbed has loaded up the number 14 car, as we saw on screen just a few moments ago, so it won't be long before Arianna Casoli's car is fully clear of the circuit and will be able to go racing once more. Here's the off for Alia Kolek, who damaged quite a lot of her bodywork in the previous race as well, and this was the move we saw between the 33 and the 69, of course, with Paul Geoffroy trying to make a move. We thought he got it done at this point, but then of course he overcooked in Paddock Hill Bend and lost 3 or 4 positions in the process. Safety car will be in this time by. So just a few moments before we go back to green flag conditions, and there we see Paul Geoffroy getting incredibly lucky in avoiding the barriers in that replay. But back to live action, back to 2x2 formation And Vladimiros Tsiotsis is going to be having to work very hard indeed. He's going to need to get his elbows out now with the likes of NASCAR on his outside. Del So behind him. Martin Dubek, you can't rule him out either. Of course, NASCAR is going to have to work hard to keep second here. He knows how favourable the inside line can be from row 2 because he made the same move on Del So earlier, and NASCAR hasn't got a good start at all. Del So through into second place at Paddock Hill Bend. NASCAR demoted to third place. Almost side by side between Dubek and Hazeman's further back as well. Tsiotsis clear in the lead once again then. Del So in second place. Alberto NASCAR demoted to third. He was on the grass going to Graham Hill Bend. Running out of room? No, not quite. I thought that was a guaranteed incident there, but they somehow managed to avoid each other. Alberto NASCAR was walking around with a Star Wars themed shirt on earlier on, and you know what? I think he does have the Force, because I have no idea how that wasn't a crash. Martin Dubek just about within touching distance as well. And Alia Kolek, seems like she's had to pull the car off. That's just at the bottom of the paddock on the back straight. And the Shadows had a moment as well. Garisto has fallen from 6th place out of the top 10 there with a moment at Paddock Hill Bend as well. So Garisto in the 17 is going to fall way down the order. I must say that moment between Del So and NASCAR, as much as I was crediting NASCAR with the Force, I think it had more to do with Del So giving the room that NASCAR needed, which in turn meant there wasn't an incident between them and meant that he could keep second place without rubbing. Sometimes rubbing isn't the only way of going racing. And the 18 car is off. Capelli with a moment there. Claudio Capelli in the 18 car has beached himself firmly into the gravel trap on the outside of Clark and Clearways. And that is a less than ideal place to have the car. So we're going to have to see if a decision is made once again by race control. Certainly they've gone past the back straight and the safety car isn't out. So maybe we're going to keep running. Garisto, incidentally, we mentioned that I thought he had fallen out of the top 10. He's actually in 10th place exactly. So he fell from 6th to 10th on that previous lap. Garisto in the 17 Shadow is down to P10. And you see there the yellow flags out and drivers having to kind of trip over each other to make sure they don't perform yellow flag overtakes. NASCAR looking racy, had a tiny look to the inside, didn't he? Safety car is now out with 5 laps to go. Second safety car, second caution of the race. Now the Brands Hatch Marshals are usually clinically efficient, but with 5 laps of the Indy circuit left to play with, they may struggle to get this sorted in time to go green flag again. I hope against hope they do, but of course they may also have to do a lot of sweeping of the gravel on that last corner as well. So I know the Marshals are going to give it their absolutely give it their all. Of course, we do also have that fallback option of an overtime finish to consider as well. So let's wait with bated breath. Between the rule book and the diligent Marshals, I get the sneaking suspicion that we will get to see this race end under green flag conditions. But let's wait and see. Tsiotsis once again then following a car, and once again it is the safety car. Vladimiros to this point in the race has been dominant. Vladimiros Tsiotsis, the Cypriot driver, we mentioned it in qualifying. Apparently he was met by the president of Cyprus during the interval between the last two races, between now and Valencia last month. Such was the impression that his successes made on the Cypriot community. And if he continues this form that he's exhibited thus far in the 2022 season, I think he's going to be quite the celebrity in his homeland before the end of the year. You saw there that the number 33 car of Paul Giffreau, you just see it there on your screen, it's now running with a completely cannibalized front end. So Giffreau has been in the wars so far in this race, as we can see. Capelli has been taken out of the gravel trap. We're also expecting a free pass for the 94 car. That is the Racing Fuel Motorsport entry of Alina Leubnerger. But as we cross the line to start lap 28 to 31, we may actually be able to get this race back underway without the need for the overtime. Let's wait and see. Siortsis is certainly not going to be relishing the fact that he's once again going to have to lead off a restart. He's good at doing so, but every time you do it, you run the risk of losing positions. Here you see the safety car board out. You see the 94 car of Leubnerger picking her way through the pack. Now, I think with her unlapping herself, I reckon, so long as the recovery vehicle is back in its required position, I reckon we may have just the one more lap under safety car here. Alina needs to get past the safety car and get on with it, really. She doesn't need to be out at the very front of the pack. Hopefully the team can communicate with her that she's not meant to just park at the front of the order. One driver into the pit lane. That is Capelli in the 18 car, so that's not really a surprise, of course. That's the car that brought out the safety car to begin with. Now, has Alina Leubnerger driven around the safety car? Yes, she has. Okay, so understand safety car should be in very shortly indeed. Let's see if they start packing up 2 by 2. Not this time. Safety car lights still on. So I think this may end up being a literal one-lap dash. Well, either start popping your popcorn or pop it in the microwave, however you prefer to do these things, because we are going to have a veritable barnstormer of a final lap. I'm confident of that. Okay, so I'm just hearing some more information from Gianluca Guiglia of EuroNASCAR. He says SC in this lap. Okay, so SC will be in this time by, that's confirmed, as we suspected. And you see that there's gravel at turn 1. I think there's gravel just about everywhere there's a gravel trap, I must say. Safety car lights are on. Two by two formation then. And we are about to go racing here at Brands Hatch. This is going to be a couple of kilometers for Vladimiros Tsiotsis of the utmost challenge. It's been confirmed to me as well that we're going into overtime. That means we're going to have 2 laps of racing rather than 1. 2 laps of racing. And it's going to be Tsiotsis on the inside, Delso on the outside of the front row. Keep an eye on Alberto NASCAR as well. And look at that, Delso tries to block off NASCAR, but NASCAR once again, with the inside line from row 2, gets himself into second place. And look at Hazemans, Liam Hazemans, he's going for the podium. Can he do it? He's side by side with Delso, and NASCAR is going for the lead. NASCAR, Alberto NASCAR is our race leader. Vladimiros Tsiotsis down to second place. Hazemans is up to third. And Dubek, and contact further back. That was Giuffreau. Oh, the incredibly difficult race. And Paul Giuffreau continues to get more complex. He's in the gravel. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, Giuffreau. I think that car might just about be out of the firing range. We go on to the final lap, and it is Alberto NASCAR, the driver of the 88 car. Oh, the 47 is definitely in the firing line. Cola Vita. Hopefully they can cover that with just local yellows. NASCAR pressing on at the head of the field. Tsiotsis there in second place. Then it's Liam Hazemans in third position. Rounding out the top 4 is Martin Dubek. The drivers giving the 47 a wide berth. Very happy to see that. Good driving, heads up driving from all concerned. But Alberto NASCAR, with the overtime system in play, has pulled off a masterstroke from third to first in 2 laps, in 2 corners. Alberto NASCAR, our race winner in the EuroNASCAR 2 third round of the season. This time he gets to see the checkered flag first on the road, and most likely in the final results as well. Huge congratulations to Alberto NASCAR. The Cal Racing team have a lot to celebrate today with podiums in EuroNASCAR Pro, and now a win for Alberto NASCAR. Amazing stuff, you have to feel, for Vladimiros Tsiotsis, who did not put a singular foot wrong in that race. However, when it counted the most, Alberto NASCAR got the run out of Paddock Hill Bend, managed to find his way up the inside of Tsiotsis. Liam Hazemans did much the same to Martin Dubek as well. In fact, he did much the same, I should say, to the number 3 car of Ulis Delso. Delso, who ultimately ended up finishing 6th. So he also was rather bitten by the late safety car and the overtime. But Alberto NASCAR is going to have the biggest smile anywhere in the United Kingdom in just a few moments' time. I'm sure these celebrations are going to be very, very entertaining indeed. You see that. Of course, this car, with Max Lanza not able to race, is only racing in EuroNASCAR 2 this weekend. Max Lanza, unfortunately, not able to race this weekend with an ear issue. Of course, this is the second career win for Alberto NASCAR. Consecutive as well. Took the win in the second race at Valencia. And, well, what a result for him. Of course, he was our championship leader coming into this one. He is once again going to be our championship leader coming out of round 3. His advantage will have only grown. The driver second in the standings is, of course, Martin Dubek, although I suspect Vladimiros Tsiotsis has overtaken him in the points now with that second place finish relative to Dubek's 4th. Hasemans may well have overtaken Dubek as well. Here comes NASCAR. Oh, he's a happy man, isn't he? Alberto NASCAR. How awesome is it to see this man living out his dreams, documenting all of it for an ever-growing fan base. Alberto NASCAR. I'm fairly sure one of those mechanics just said 2 in a row. And it is 2 in a row for Alberto NASCAR. And he has firmly established himself as a serious contender in the EuroNASCAR 2 Championship. If it was in doubt after Valencia, I seriously don't think it is now. The 88 car there with Andre, and let's hear from our race winner.
Alberto NASCAR, I have just one question. How?
I don't know. Really. I just, switched off the brain, turned on the instinct, and I did it. I think that was all the experience in these years racing, both in the simulator and in real life, that got me aware about the situation, that got me able to understand, not to give up at the beginning, to believe it until the last lap, and this is it.
How does it feel to be in victory lane for the second time for the books, but first time really with your name on it in EuroNASCAR?
Filma. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
No problem. First time in victory lane. You have 2 wins now, but this time your car, your name on the car in a EuroNASCAR car victory lane. How does it feel?
Yeah, this is my victory.
He said, "This is my victory." I think that interview has now concluded. What a happy moment that is for Alberto NASCAR. It is certainly his victory, and a well-deserved one at that. There was always a good chance that he could move himself up from 3rd to 2nd. We saw that the inside of the 2nd row was an ideal place to be earlier on. However, I don't think many of us expected him to end up in the lead by the Druid's hairpin. I certainly didn't expect it. And imagine Vladimiros Tsiotsis is rather less happy given how commanding his drive was in that race. He would deserve the win just as much. Vladimiros continues to show that he arguably has the most pace of anyone in EuroNASCAR 2 this year. And let's hear from him now.
Thank you so much. Vladimiros Tsiotsis, it was a tough race with a late restart. What happened there in your side?
No, I mean, the restart, I think it was good. I went off during the green flag. I don't know why the other cars were a little bit faster on restart. But anyway, yes, I did my job, starting from pole tomorrow. And of course, I will give my best once again. Yeah. So all the battles are inside the track, and I will give my best.
The bigger picture, you scored important points for the championship battle. Are you still happy to have collected important points for the bigger picture, not just the race win, but the championship battle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is the main goal for this year, and we will achieve it, you know. Restarts are always in the game, and we have to accept that. It can happen, whatever it can happen, so we are good to continue. I will fight tomorrow to win. All
right, thank you so much. Congratulations for 2nd place.
So there you go, Vladimiros Tsiotsis with a fabulous result there in 2nd place. It continues to build a strong championship for him, but unfortunately not taking that win. It's going to be bitter for him, but he'll be back tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll have that same pace that we've seen from him all weekend long so far at Brands Hatch. And there you see the gathered masses of Cal Racing, who are all taking the opportunity to soak in the win and some of the finer details from Alberto NASCAR. And now we hear from the driver of the 54 car. Let's talk to Mrs. Del Castello.
Lily Del Castello, just talk us through the race. How was it for you?
It was difficult, very difficult, but it was great. I win in Lady Trophy, and I'm so happy for this. And it was little good.
Compared to free practice and qualifying, how was it to race with all the cars around you?
It's so different because 34 cars, how many? 35 in a short track. Oh, two laps, and I find the last one. Okay, it's this.
Okay, thank you so much, grazie mille, and congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go, great to hear from Luli Del Castello in that 54 car that we saw earlier on the overall podium in the hands of Gianmarco Ercoli. Well, she's not just in the Lady Trophy that she referred to, she's also in the Rookie Trophy, Luli Del Castello. And, more interviews from Andre. Back to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. We are here with the local hero. So how was it to wrestle a EuroNASCAR car around your home track?
It was, don't get me wrong, brilliant. What an experience. You know, it's carnage, you can't see, there's cars everywhere. You're fighting it sideways, you're banging doors. You know, it's nothing like I've ever done. All my historic racing's clean, you don't touch each other, but this. So a lot of fun, a little bit disappointed, obviously, with the hit up the back that rubbed the tyre and caused me to come in. We were running about 10th then, but really happy. That's number 1 done. Go for race 2 tomorrow, make amends for it. See where we go from there.
Tasted blood?
Well, I figured out, if I'm going to get a damage bill, I might as well be the one doing the damaging. It's the same as, you know, paying the damage for something that's me. So, yeah, I think elbows out tomorrow, and now I know what to expect.
All right, thank you so much, and have fun tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like Matthew Ellis has already adopted the EuroNASCAR philosophy to rubbing body panels, and great to hear from him as well. As he alluded to, he's come from the world of historic racing, and the drivers tend to be very careful. Often the cars double as investments, and you don't want to dent your investment. Here then are the highlights from this race, and I'm sure there's a fair few of them. This could be quite the highlight package. The start of the race, of course it was Vladimiros Tsiotsis on the inside of the front row. Outside the front row was Ulis Delso, who didn't draw alongside the number 5 car particularly, and Alberto NASCAR managed to move up to second place in the early stages as a result of that. Everyone through the first corner cleanly. This man, Paul Giffreau, in the 33 car, had a particularly turbulent race, it must be said, for the Speedhouse outfit. And he tried to make a move on Melvin de Groot. And actually, this is the 29 car, my apologies. So we saw Alia Kolek going off at Paddock Hill Bend. And then later on, we would see this from Paul Giffreau up the inside of Melvin de Groot. Great side-by-side action between them through Clark Curve and Clearways. It looked as though de Groot had to play second fiddle. Late on the brakes was Paul Giffreau. Unfortunately, too late on the brakes. Couldn't get the car turned in, ended up in the gravel, lost positions. And really, that was the start of a very difficult race to come, albeit very well avoided the barriers there, it must be said. And here you see some more of the moment there for Giffreau. He looked like he was going to hit the wall from that angle, didn't it? And we now see the overall podium and a very happy Liam Hazelmans. The young man is grinning from ear to ear, and can you blame him? Second place, of course, going to Vladimiros Siortsis. And there is Alberto NASCAR punching the air. And the trophies being presented. Great to see all smiles on the podium. Siortsis continues to rack up points, but Alberto NASCAR continues to extend his championship lead with his second consecutive win of the 2022 EuroNASCAR 2 season. National anthem. A full-throated rendition of the Italian national anthem from Alberto NASCAR and the Cal Racing Choir. I'm sure that none of these drivers are going to hold back on the champagne. No, they are not. Oh, wonderful celebrations from the EuroNASCAR 2 overall podium. And Alberto NASCAR, a mix of tears and champagne in the eyes, I'm sure. How awesome to hear that excellent singing from everyone involved in Cal Racing. It means a lot to them when they can see their man on the top step. Getting a look here at the moment that NASCAR crossed the line to take the win. The moment that spurred on that jubilation. And now we move on to the Masters podium, the Legend Trophy podium. Roberto Benedetti third, Miguel Gomez second, and the winner, Melvin de Groot. I think that might be Melvin's son up on the podium with him. How cool is that? And so there you go, the trophies being presented there by small trophy, says Roberto Benedetti, a representative from VP Racing Fuels, handing over the trophies to our legends, or our I was right the first time. Legends Trophy runners, the EuroNASCAR 2 drivers aged 40 and over. And pose for a picture. And take a bow, all three of you. Next up, we will have the Rookie Trophy with their podium. How awesome does that look to have a big old stock car, a EuroNASCAR, down there in victory lane in front of the podium here at Brands Hatch. The sights, the sounds, and the spectacle of the American Speedfest never gets old. Fabulous stuff. Up onto the podium then for the Rookie Trophy. Third place goes to Tuomas Ponttinen. Second place again, Liam Hazeman's back on the podium. And then Alberto NASCAR once again joining us on the podium. Just great, isn't it, to have seen that moment earlier for Alberto, taking his overall win and sitting on the top step of an overall podium. You can see the emotions. Alberto is going to soak in this moment, I'm sure. And you're going to have to see if he can do it all again tomorrow, of course. Certainly he has extended his points lead. Alberto Nasca should be provisionally on 115 points after that race. 102 for Martin Dubek and 101 for Vladimiros Tsiotsis. Lady trophy class here for Alia Koluk. There is the driver of the number, sorry, I just lost my page there. I did have the results in front of me. The driver of the number 94, Lena Lobnerger, and then Lily Del Castello taking the top step. We heard from her, of course, earlier on, and she'll be looking to get further up the overall order, I'm sure, as well tomorrow. She said she was, you know, somewhat happy. She didn't sound like she was ecstatic, but another good result in the Lady Trophy for her. Of course, the battle between Nasca and Tsiotsis will once again be of the utmost importance tomorrow, because it will be Tsiotsis on pole, Nasca second, Dubek third, and Liam Hazeman's fourth on the first two rows of the grid. I also just want to say there, you see the hashtag diversity, hashtag equality on Alia Koluk's car. On the back, or on her race suit, I should say. On the back of her car, it does say equality, respect, and diversity. Alia Koluk pushing that message here in the EuroNASCAR paddock, and great to see that as well. The more of all three of those things, the better. The more EuroNASCAR racing, the better. And thankfully, we've got two more races to come. The EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 back tomorrow at 14:20 Central European Time and 1700 Central European Time, respectively. As you can see on your screen, make sure you join us again tomorrow for two more action-packed races from the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in today. Make sure you come back for round 4 tomorrow.